Matt Aguilar here from comicbook.com. Today I have the pleasure of speaking to WWE NXT Superstar Tiffany Stratton. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time. You were super busy these days, got so much going on. Of course, today is a big day because the day we are recording this, maybe not the day you are watching this, but the day we are recording this is the day you are now in WWE 2K23. It would be, I'm assuming this is the first wrestling video game you've been included in?
Yes, my very first video game ever.
Is it so how is the feeling knowing that that's out there? People are like throwing you in their rosters and all that. Is it surreal still a little bit, or how are you feeling?
Yeah, it's definitely still like surreal, and I mean it doesn't really feel real, but I definitely feel like it should have happened like a couple months ago. Surprised it's just happening now, to be honest, but whatever. It was only a matter of time.
Absolutely. No, when the original roster got released, it was me and another person at Comic Book kind of are the big NXT. Like we watch NXT every week. We're excited. We were like, there was a couple names and we were like, wow, man, we got to wait till we got to wait like 4 months, 5 months. This ain't cool. This ain't cool. So it's awesome to have you in the game. How do you because they've released a couple trailers and gameplay things. How do you feel they captured you? The entrance, the Moonsault looks sick. Like, how do you feel about how they actually did it? And what was the process for you doing the face scans and all that?
It was kind of cool. It was like in this truck, just pulled over in the parking lot, and they sat you down in this like chair, and there's a bunch of cameras around you, and they made you make all these like ridiculous facial expressions, but I have to say that I have a beautiful bone structure and they captured it perfectly within the game. So props to them.
Yeah, I think people are really already, kind of jumping in, and the creations community is so big with WWE 2K, and they pretty much on everything. I see after like the day after pay-per-views, gears and special things are already uploaded. And it's like, that's just nuts to me. Obviously you already come in the game with, a standard gear, but is there another look that you've had either in past events or just kind of on NXT that you hope for those fans to recreate in the game? Is there another look you're kind of hoping to see?
Yeah, I've definitely stepped up my gear game. I wish it could have been my silver gear, any of my silver gears, even the gold gear I have now. I would love for the fans to recreate, but yeah, I love all of my current gears that I've been wearing.
Yeah, they're on it. It'll happen.
Yeah, I've been with them like stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, it's insane, and it's always so impressive. Now, something I actually just learned. So your rating is an 80. Which congratulations, as it's a great rating. And a certain previous NXT Women's Champion in Indy Hartwell is actually rated at a 77. How does it feel to kind of be sitting up in the hires of the NXTs there? And how do you feel about that rating in general?
I mean, obviously it speaks for itself. The fans don't lie. Obviously she was the champion, and I think she's still considered the champion, and I feel like I should have had a rematch with her before she got called up, so I could have been champion. But I definitely feel like the fans like me better than her, and I just feel like I need that title now.
Well, it's funny you brought that up. How did you feel about the tournament happening? You mentioned you would have liked a rematch because you were right there. You know what I mean? Like you were right in the title picture, and it felt like that could have been a natural way to go. How do you feel about how the transition was handled now that it's a tournament? You've now made it further in, which we'll obviously get to in a second. How do you feel about that? Should it have been different?
I guess, I mean, they want to give all the girls their chances, and I understand that, but I mean, it's just more opportunities to show that I'm ready. And I think it gives the other girls opportunities to, you know, like show that they have the potential, but they will never compare to me. But yeah, I'm slowly making my way through, and hopefully I'll be at Battleground.
Well, so, and that's a perfect lead up to obviously this past, this past 2 weeks. They've had the first rounds. We now have the semifinals matchup, and you will be facing Roxanne Perez, which you are no stranger to Perez. And how are you kind of feeling about that match? How are you feeling about kind of going? How do you prepare, I guess, for going against someone with her specific skill set? And how confident are you kind of going into this that you're going to be at Battleground?
So the last time Roxanne and I have fought each other was in the breakout tournament. And I would say that was about like 3 or 4 months into my career. So back then I was considered a newbie, and she was this girl that came in that was a very hard worker. She's an underdog. She definitely holds her own. And back then I was still just kind of like getting to know like wrestling and, like what I would do in situations. And I feel like I have really grown as a wrestler now. And I think she is going to give me a run for my money. But it's going to be a close one. I feel like Roxanne is an underdog, and I feel like I'm ready, and I feel like it's my time. It's Tiffy time.
Well, one of the things too that, obviously people are always impressed with your in-ring work, and, you have one of the coolest looking moonsaults, just like in WWE period. And there's a lot of competition for that, but yours has consistently, been praised. Why did you decide to kind of make that your signature? And did I hear right that you actually want to add other elements to it?
I do. Yeah. So I was a trampoline gymnast before coming to wrestling, and I feel like using the ropes and kind of like bouncing off of them it kind of like correlates with my trampoline background. I know I can get really good height on my moonsault. And I just feel like the bouncing, it just came natural to me, and it was a cool way to spice up the moonsault. But yeah, I do want to add a full twist to it one day. Maybe one day soon. We'll see. But yeah, I definitely want to spice it up a bit.
Well, and before earlier this year, obviously last year you had an injury that kind of sidelined you for a minute, and then you came back in New Year's Eve. What did you, I guess, take away most from the time away? Was it kind of that thing of like, I want to get back in the ring, I'm missing things? Do you use that kind of time to, regroup a little bit? And is it nice to have some space? And then did you always know you were going to kind of come back with this kind of big event presentation at New Year's Eve?
No, not really. I didn't really think I was going to come back and, be such a dominant force, but I took that time, and, I told myself, I want to come back better. I want to come back with a new look. I want to come back shredded. And I took that time away to work on myself and, come back stronger than ever. And it worked.
Yeah, I would say so. I think it's worked a lot. And by the way, when we were talking about the moonsault, it's awesome because like 2K is now doing these, like free, updates and slipping in like new move sets and things. So whenever that new twist happens, just letting you guys know, 2K, like you need to kind of get on that. Like we got to have the new move. We got to have the Moonsault 2.0 when it's ready.
You got to be with the times.
Yeah, seriously. We can't wait till 2K24. Okay, we gotta have that in between. What's been great about NXT over the past few months is that there's been more crossover between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and we see people kind of bleeding over both, even before the draft. If you could, kind of moving into Battleground, saying you become the champion, is there someone from Raw or SmackDown you would kind of love to challenge and put that title to the test and bring over to NXT for a match?
Yeah, I mean, of course there is. I feel like, Charlotte Flair, her and I kind of have similar styles. She was a gymnast. I have always wanted to. I think Charlotte Flair is one of my dream matches for sure. Bianca Belair, I love her. I love watching her. She's so fun to watch. Again, like we both have similar backgrounds. I did CrossFit. She also did CrossFit before coming to NXT. And yeah, Bianca and Charlotte for sure.
Oh man, those would be fire too, and especially too because they're so, synonymous with NXT too. So it would be a kind of cool cross generational generational moment for NXT fans. I know I got to let you go here. I truly appreciate the time. Looking back at 2022, what was your most surreal moment? And looking at 2023, what's the bucket list item that you need to have by the end of the year?
My most surreal moment last year. Can it be a part of this year or?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
I would say my first pay-per-view ever, Stand and Deliver. That was such a surreal experience. My first time ever being in a big arena like that. And I got to basically open the show with my entrance. So that was something that was so exhilarating for me. And I've never experienced that before. So it was a good little taste of what it's like to be on the big stage. And then going into 2023, I want to have some gold around my waist and I want to be a dominant champion and hopefully be called up by the end of this year and be considered a dominant force on Raw or SmackDown.
Absolutely. And before I go, you mentioned Stand and Deliver. That was a really impressive, performance in the ring and everything. So many great moments, but my Lord, did that spot off the top of the ladder onto the floor hurt as much as it feels like it did?
Yeah, it did. I think it hurt me more than it hurt my opponents, but but yeah, that's just the price you have to pay when you take risks, and I take risks all the time. Sometimes I shouldn't, but whatever.
Well, they've paid off so far, and all the best success, and can't wait to see what happens at Battleground. Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.